Hello, Sarah Sabin, Executive Leadership and Intuition Coach here, and welcome to Sarah's question time or story time, depending on the day. But I'm going to share with you a common question that has showed up with a few clients in the last few weeks, and that is, Sarah, I'm feeling really at peace and chill, and it feels weird to me. Now, the reason it feels weird to them is because they're going through challenging times and they're still going through challenging times. And they're used to having a completely different set of emotional reactions normally, right? So we are all emotional creatures. And unless we are aware of our emotional reactions, they are running the show. Right. So whether we're artificially emotionally high or artificially emotionally low, depending on whether something good or bad is happening or whether we're going through good times or bad times, these emotions are impacting our thoughts, our behaviors, our actions, our decisions, everything. And that includes if you count yourself as an unemotional person, which a lot of my clients do because they associate being emotional with being outwardly emotional, i.e., crying, panicking, having an angry outburst, etc. Right? What I care about is what's going on the inside because essentially that is impacting you more than you think. And whereas we've perhaps been told that it's good to make decisions from a place of feeling good, that may or may not be true because if we're feeling too excited, we tend to ignore risks because we're excited and we're positive and everything's going to turn out fine. And if we're too low, obviously we tend to act out fear or scarcity, and we're not seeing the potential upside of a potential decision or plan that we're making or whatever it is. The absolute best place to operate rationally from is neutrality. And neutrality is an internal state. So, whatever is going on externally, you are able to get back to this emotional set point in order for you to operate in the best possible way. Or, as my clients have said, they're starting to feel this sense of peace. Now, that is really important because as soon as we start to get over, let's say, 20% emotional, if we're over 20% emotional, our prefrontal cortex is negatively impacted, right? So that region of the brain is responsible for our rational decision making, right? And you may then say to me, well, Sarah, how many of us really make rational decisions all of the time? Well, sad to say, probably not that many. So, a few tips here to start to understand if you're in emotional neutrality or not. So, number one, start to become more aware of when you're in a high or when you're in a low emotional state. And once you're aware, the idea is to process that emotion, to think about, okay, what is it that is causing this emotion? And what do I need to do to regulate myself? Right. So, what action step do you need to take? Do you need to have an uncomfortable conversation because you feel you should have said something to someone you didn't? Do you need to just take some time to breathe and regulate your nervous system? Do you need to go and get your anger out? Do you need to journal your emotions out? So proactively take a step to get back to neutrality. And I'm going to also say here that even if you're in the middle of something, you can still take between 10 to 30 seconds to do this very quickly. The real art of leadership is to create time where there is no time. So don't let yourself or anyone else pressure you into responding from an emotional place. Take the briefest of pauses and regulate yourself before doing something. And as you do this more and more, it starts to become a habit. And from that place, what you'll see is you're in emotional neutrality more of the time. So, as I say to my clients, a good barometer of progress is, for example, if you're used to going down anxiety spirals for 2 days about a particular trigger, you'll notice maybe it's one day, and then 5 hours, and then 3 hours, and then 1 hour, and then maybe a minute, and then maybe 30 seconds. So that's how you know when you're starting to be able to emotionally regulate and get back to that neutral place quicker.